This is Hanging with Mrs. Housley, and I'm Mrs. Housley. It's been a while since we've made a YouTube video because we're not in school right now. We're taking a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a break from programming until after the holidays. And so this week, I think, because Thanksgiving was last week and because we talked about what we're thankful for, which means what we're happy about having in our lives, what makes us glad, whether it's your family that you're thankful for, or your toys, or your things, or being thankful for having a toothbrush, or being thankful for having an iPad, those kinds of things. Being thankful was something that we focused on, we talked about a lot back before school ended, and during Thanksgiving, that's something that we talk about a lot. So I thought, well, yes, we're thankful for things, but why don't I come up with some questions that you guys can have and that a grown-up or your bigger brother or sister could read to your whole family. You could all get together, since we're all spending a lot more time at home together. Instead of being on your iPads and your video games and your TVs, and I love TV, don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of TV, but instead of being on those things, why don't we work on answering some questions to get us all talking and enjoying each other's company and listening to the answers, because some of the answers are really neat to listen to, how your mom or your dad or your brother or sister or grandma, grandpa would answer these questions, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I have a piece of paper here, I'm gonna show you guys on the camera, and then you guys can stop the video and you can, moms and dads, whoever, could read the questions. You guys can all go through and answer them, and then you can unpause it and watch the rest of the video, or you could just watch the video and talk about these questions later, okay? Here are my questions. I'll hold them still, okay? So you can read them. I'm gonna put them back here so I can now read them, and then we're gonna talk about them, okay? All right, question number 1. What is the worst smell in the world? I can think of so many things that smell bad. Yucky, dirty garbage, dirty diapers, a skunk. I have a story about a skunk. When I was in college, Mr. Housley had a friend who worked at this cool pet store that had really strange and different and exotic, that's the word, animals. And one day he brought home a tarantula, which is a big, hairy spider that was like this big. In my class, I'm not the biggest fan of spiders, and they said, come on, let's touch this spider, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I touched it and it felt furry, and that was it. But he brought home a skunk, and Mr. Housley called me and said, you gotta come over here because Mike brought a skunk home. And I'm like, okay. So I went over there, and somehow the skunk didn't have its stinker anymore. It didn't smell, it couldn't spray anymore. It still smelled like a skunk though. It just still did, but it couldn't spray. So you couldn't see it spraying, and it couldn't smell that bad. But boy, oh boy, that was an interesting smell. So when I smell a skunk, that's kind of a bad smell, and I hope it never skunks us. Hope we never get sprayed. Anyway, all right, how about number 2? If you had a pet, and if that pet could talk, what would it say? My class, I was talking about getting a dog. Well, we did. My dog is a cool dog. It's called a beagle. His name is Cooper, and he is a sweet, beautiful little dog. He is learning all about our house. He's learning all about us, and we're learning about him. But if he could talk, I would ask him to questions like, do you have to go potty? And he could tell us, yeah, I have to go potty. I'm hungry. I want to play. I want to go outside and go for a walk. I need to stretch. I don't feel so good. If he could tell us when something was wrong or when he needed something, I think that would be cool. And he could say, I don't like you to scratch me here. I like you to scratch me here. If he could tell us that stuff, that would be so cool. I don't know what your answers were, but that's kind of how our answers were. And oh, by the way, I did bring these questions home to my family. And we sat around the table and we answered these questions. And we were there for like 45 minutes talking. And it was a great thing because I thought, you know what? This is getting us all talking together. So that made me really happy. So I hope this set of questions does that for you and your family. Okay, number 3, if you had superpowers, what would they be? So many cool superpowers to have. You could fly, you could have powerful strength, you could be able to jump really high, or you could run really fast. There's so many different kinds of superpowers out there. I don't know which one I would pick. X-ray vision, so I could see through things, or I could read people's minds maybe. I don't even know, but I just know that if I had a superpower, it would be tough to pick which one. Maybe flying. I don't know. Maybe super strength. Not sure. But that was something to talk about. Okay, how about number 4? What do you think is in outer space? Some of you might already know this question, the answer to this question. You know, what's out in outer space? Well, there's the sun in the daytime you can see, and the stars are always there, and the moon is always there. But there's things like space debris, which is like space garbage. There's rocks and there's pieces of old rocket ships. In fact, in the news, there was something in the sky or in space that the scientists were kind of looking to figure out what is that. And I think they decided that it was an old piece of a rocket ship booster, which helps push the rocket ship into the air, from like 60 years ago. That was just floating in space. That's really cool. There's also the International Space Station, which is where astronauts, people who travel to space, they work there and they live there. And it's out in space. How cool is that? My son wants to study aerospace engineering, which is basically learning about all things that fly. And he wants to learn about airplanes and aircraft and spacecraft. So he might know more about that kind of stuff once he's finished with college, when he starts next year. Pretty cool stuff in outer space. I'm sure there's some other stuff that we don't even know about that's in outer space. Okay, number 5, what makes you cry? Getting hurt and falling, right? That could make us cry. You know, and we have a boo-boo on our fingers from a cut or just a piece of skin that was pulled. Those kinds of things make us cry. Of course, when we get in trouble, when somebody doesn't treat us well and they hurt our feelings, sure, that could make us cry. But there's also happy things that could make us cry too. If I go to a wedding and I see the people in the front of the church or in the front wherever they are getting married, I have a little tear in my eye because I think it's a beautiful thing. Somebody getting married, a new baby. I think it's a beautiful thing and it makes me happy and I get a little tear. If I'm watching a beautiful show on TV and something beautiful happens, I'm using the word beautiful so much, something so happy happens, it's tears of joy, of happiness. You can also cry when you're happy. You can. I'm sure some of you have. Okay, how about number 6? What's your favorite song? I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question because there's so many songs. I listen to so much music. That's one thing that the Housley family, we love music. I love music from 80 years ago. I love music from today that the teenagers are listening to. I love music from when I was a kid. I love all kinds of music. So does Mr. Housley. So do my kids. My 11-year-old daughter loves the Beatles. The Beatles happened 50, 60 years ago. She loves that kind of music. So I can't answer that what's your favorite song question, because there's just too many to choose from. Right now I'm listening to Christmas music because we celebrate Christmas, and I'm listening to Christmas songs. And they make me think of when I was a kid, and they make me think about happy times at Christmas time. So that one's hard for us to answer in my family. Okay, how about number 7? What are you scared of? Could be the dark, could be thunderstorms. It could be the wind. It could be spiders. Some people, I know someone who's afraid of butterflies. You guys might think, how could you be afraid of a butterfly? But she is. There's different kinds of fears, okay? Different kinds of things that we can be scared of. And just because you might think it's a strange one, like butterflies, it's a real fear and it really bothers her. So, you know, we don't tease her about it because that's not nice to do, right? Some people say to me, why are you scared of spiders? They're so small, they can't hurt you. I don't know. I just am. That's all. Okay, how about number 8? Who is your best friend? Is it somebody in class? Is it a cousin? Is it your brother or your sister? Do you have friends in your neighborhood that you're friends with? My best friend is Mr. Housley, but I have 3 best friends from college. I've known them for about 30 whole years. One lives in Pennsylvania, which is far. One lives in Ohio, also far. And one lives in Michigan, also far. And we all come from different places, and we text all the time, and we FaceTime, and we, when we can, get together. We do, and we vacation with each other, and we have so much fun. And even our kids have said, you know, we're kind of crazy when we get together because we act like we're children again. But it's really fun, and I love these 3 people very much, and they are my best friends. But I also do have very, very, very best friends here too that live close. So yeah, okay, that's number 8. Number 9, what is your favorite thing to do with your family? Answering these kinds of questions around the kitchen table is something that I love to do with my family. Playing games, we play card games, we play what song is this kind of games where we put on a song and see if someone can guess what it is. Just hanging out with my family and enjoying our time together is something that I love to do. It's one of my favorite things to do. And just laughing and joking and remembering fun stuff that happened when they were kids or when we were kids. It's very fun. Okay, what is the best part about being a kid? What do you think? Playing, not having a job, not going to school all day, although soon you will. One day you will, and it'll be great. There's a lot of cool things about being a kid. And then sometimes I think you guys think that there's some things that aren't so great about being a kid. You know, like you don't earn money. If you want to buy something, you have to ask. If I want to buy something, I just buy it because I'm a grown-up. My favorite thing about being an adult is being a mom. I love being a mom. My kids are really awesome kids, I have to say. I might sound like, ooh, my kids are so awesome, but they really are. They're nice people, and I enjoy spending time with them. Okay, number 11. What do you dream about when you're asleep at night? Sometimes you have great dreams and happy dreams. Sometimes you have strange dreams, like me. My dog was eating pretzels on the couch. He had the pretzel bowl on his belly, and he was eating them like this. Now, normally a dog doesn't do that kind of thing. They eat off the floor or off of a bowl, or if something drops. Some dreams can be very strange. Some dreams can be very scary. Scary dreams are not fun to have at all. And yeah, they're pretty scary sometimes. And you have to remember, they're not real. Sometimes when you wake up, you're like, oh no, is that real? It's not real. And you're okay and you're safe. So having a scary dream, it happens. And dreams are just maybe our way of our minds to sort of relax. I don't know. But yeah, dreams can be also very fun and very cool, and you wish they really happened. Okay, let's see. What's my next question? Number 12, what makes you happy when you're sad? Sometimes when you're sad, nothing can make you feel better. Sometimes when you're sad, a hug can make you feel better. Or if somebody talks to you and just makes you feel less sad. Sometimes people tell a joke and make you laugh even harder, makes you laugh even harder, and then you're not as sad as you were before. So sometimes when someone makes a joke, I giggle and then I feel a little bit better. And sometimes I just need a hug, or I just need someone to say, it's gonna be okay. And you know what? Most of the time, it's gonna be okay. All right? Number 13, if you could be an animal, what would you be? That's an easy one for me. I would be a dog, because their life is chill. They're relaxing, hanging out in the couch. My dog can't go on the couch. In their bed, on the floor, hanging out, looking for food, going on walks, sniffing other dogs, looking at other people, looking at the trees or the flowers, playing catch, playing with their toys. What a life a dog leads, right? That's a cool life. They're very relaxed. That would be what I would do. I think I would be a dog. I think I would. Okay, how about number 14? We're almost done. What are you good at? Are you good at sports? Are you good at coloring? Are you good at building? I can juggle. 2 balls, or excuse me, 3. I can juggle 3 balls in the air. I can knit and crochet with yarn and make scarves, and I can make hats and gloves and mittens and all kinds of things. I can pitch a softball. I taught my daughter how to pitch a softball, and so I'm pretty good at that. And number 15, what is love? Some people have a hard time answering what that is. Love to me is just a lovely, beautiful feeling that you have inside that makes you super happy. It makes you all warm and fuzzy inside. When you think about someone or something that just makes you that just so happy. Like, I love my kids. I love my husband. I love my mom and my family. I also love chocolate, which I don't eat anymore, but I love it. It makes me feel good to eat it, but I don't really eat it anymore because I want to be a little healthier. So I try not to eat chocolate. And if I do eat chocolate, it's usually healthy chocolate, and that's okay too. All right, my friends, those were 15 questions to ask the preschoolers, and for you preschoolers to ask your moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you guys were sitting around the house talking about these questions, and I hope you had fun doing it. This was Hanging with Mrs. Housley, and I'm Mrs. Housley. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, be safe, have a great week.